Alrighty guys, Lucky Pure here, and this is going to be the first lesson that I am officially presenting to you solo, so I hope you're excited to be here because I'm very, very excited to get stuck into unleashing your most lucrative asset. Let's dive in. Alright, now here is a warning because I just want to address that. I want to address the eye rolling that is going to happen in this presentation. The reason you bought this program and you've joined this community is because you want to make as much money as you can online as quickly as possible. And that is 100% what everything in this program is geared toward teaching you. That is what me and Lucas have done. That's what other students have done. And none of them have done it, including us, without what we're going to show you or what I'm going to teach you in this presentation. So this is by far, in my opinion, the most important presentation, one of them anyway, in this program. And if you took this presentation and you went off in your life and you didn't use any of the tactics in this course, I believe this would make the biggest difference in your life, okay? However, it's not necessarily the most exciting things to be talking about. And unfortunately, a lot of people have made it seem pretty dull and bland and haven't related it to making a lot of money. And that's what I want to do in this presentation, okay? So this is what most people think success looks like. They think, once I get the tactics, once I get the secret system, once I get the loophole or whatever it is, I'm going to become successful. However, that is just not the case. That's how everyone thinks in life, and that's why a lot of people, especially myself, before I achieved any level of success, I bought 1,001 courses, and the courses that I bought and didn't work, often it wasn't because of the course, it was because of me. And that is why this is what success really looks like. Now, I don't want to say this isn't to beat you up right now or say that, look, you're a failure or anything like that. That's not the case. However, most people who haven't achieved success, it's not because they haven't got the tactics or they can't get access to the tactics. It's because fundamentally within them they have habits that are debilitating towards achieving success. So success looks like this. It looks like the effectiveness of the tactics times the effectiveness of yourself equals success. Now, what most people focus on in programs and videos is all about the tactics. They're going to, show you some secret Facebook ad hack or, some secret Google traffic or whatever it is. However, that's not really what it is, okay? If your business is built solely off of tactics, then you're going to get wiped out by people who can come in and just get the same tactics as you, or, buy the same tactics or get better tactics, okay? There's a reason why some people in this program achieve way more than other people in this program who don't achieve as much. And it comes down to that you aspect, okay? So there's three main elements that make up you, all right? Now, I just want to preface this by saying I'm not a doctor, I'm not a dietitian or, any of that crap. I'm just going to tell you what works for me, what's worked for Lucas, and what works the best for our students and other very, very successful entrepreneurs and rich people, basically, that I've met in my life, okay? There's going to be a lot of resistance at first when you hear these things, and you may want to skip this video, but don't do it because this is really what is going to make the difference and is what basically going to give you the life that you really want, even though you may not be able to see it right now. Okay, now if you have sort of, different things we'll touch on, like issues and personal stuff, then, that's you, so take it with a grain of salt and tailor this advice to you. But this is what's working best right now from what I've seen and from high performance people, okay? Now, there's three main elements to this. There is time, how you use and manage your time. There is energy, how much energy you have on a daily basis, and focus. Now, focus is basically just how well and effectively you can work and utilize the other two. Now, these three things make up you, okay? And the way I like to look at it is like this, on a percentage-wise basis. I like to put numbers on things. So like success equals when you can achieve 100%. And each of time, focus, and energy make up around about 33% of you and how well you can actually get to success, okay? Because everyone can get tactics. Everyone can go on YouTube and find out tactics. It's not about the tactics, about how well can you utilize the tactics, stay focused, your energy levels and things like that to actually get success and to actually make it work. Because a lot of people, they quit way too soon. They don't actually focus on what makes money. They are very easily distracted. They've got terrible diets and terrible energy levels, so they can only work for a couple hours and then they quit. They're lazy. There's lots of different things that make up someone having the perfect tactics and not being able to make it work. If you came in today and you just stole all the tactics out of mine and Lucas's businesses or any of our successful students' businesses, you would not be able to make it work without these things. Because at the end of the day, business is competition. The clients and the people and the people you're looking to sign up in these groups and on the internet, there are other people who are also looking to sign those people up as well. So, for example, if you have the same tactics as someone else and you can only work 30 minutes a day, but the other person can work 3 hours a day because they're better at using their time, they win. If the other person has optimizes their diet and gets better sleep to have way higher energy levels, then they're going to be able to use their time way more effectively and for longer, and then they win because they're going to be able to craft better sales messages, get in contact with more people, sell more effectively, provide a better service to their clients, etc., etc. If they have better focus and they can focus on one thing when you're focusing on 10 different things, they win and they're going to crush you. And so this is how we crush every single person around us, because nobody does these things, okay? People don't do these things. People are so focused on, just the tactics and the loophole and the shortcuts, which, yes, those things do exist. However, they don't exist in isolation. They exist in tandem with how effectively you use them, okay? I don't want to beat a dead horse here. However, I just want to make sure that this is really, really clear and you really, really understand this, because it's so vitally important. Switching my focus from tactics to these three things exploded my business and exploded my results, and it got me out of being one of those people who buys 1,001 courses to being someone who gets one tactic and makes it work. And if you're watching this video right now, 100% that is who you want to be. You want to be the person who gets one thing, one tactic, one strategy, and just goes bam and makes it work over and over and over again. And this is how you do it. So let's sort of dive into this, okay? Now, most people, this is how their life operates. And this is for life. This is like a permanent thing for most people, because most people are never taught this. Like, we aren't taught this in college or university or school or by our parents, really. Is, they have the tactics is a 1 multiplier, and you, the percentage multiplier, and then that equals success. And success in this case is 100%, where we're going to get the best results and pretty much guarantee our success. If you're getting 100% here, you are guaranteed to be successful. So everything you need to do in your life needs to be focused to get that 100%. If there's anything in your life that's pulling away from that 100%, I would just cut it. I am extremely ruthless in my life with the people I associate with, the things I put in my body, what I spend my time doing, and I'm extremely close to that 100%. And anything that doesn't push me closer towards that, I will literally just cut it off like it's, a dead limb or whatever it is, okay? Now, maybe you don't want to be that ruthless, and that's completely okay, but you need to understand that that is going to come at a price, and that price is going to be the life of your dreams, okay? That price is going to be freedom, it's going to be money, it's going to be quality time with your friends and your family, and that's just a fact, all right? But that's why I sort of want to touch on here. Okay? So most people in life, they just go through life acting in the way, in terms of time, focus, and energy that everyone around them does. Let's just say if you live at home, or you live with roommates, or you live with your family, and they all have, let's just focus on time, for example. They all sleep in, they get up and they kind of roam around and do whatever they want, whenever they want. None of them study, none of them work on themselves, none of them have a business, they go and watch TV, they just kind of roam around throughout the day, they haven't got a schedule, they don't have an agenda, they don't plan things, they have no idea how long it takes them to do things, and they're just very sloppy with their time. And then when it comes down to diet, they have, heaps of cookies in, the pantry, they get McDonald's, 3 times a week. They drink soft drink filled with sugar. They have all these different things that they just never really pay attention to. They get takeaway. They eat pizza all the time. And then when it comes down, so that ruins their energy levels. They have no energy. They feel, foggy, which causes them to sleep in. And then when it comes down to focusing, they can't focus because they've got 30,000 notifications going off in their phone every second. Every 2 seconds, they're checking their phone to see who messaged them. they can't focus on one thing. When you're at work, you're constantly refreshing your emails every 2 seconds. You're getting up, you're walking around, you're speaking with the person to your left, speaking with the person to your right, now you got a phone call you got to make. All these different things is what most people do. And that is why if you go up to a random person on the street and you give them the tactics in this program, it's going to fail for them. That is why we're putting such a stress and emphasis, and I'm so passionate about this because I'm serious. I'm deadly serious about this, because if you gave that person tactics, they wouldn't be able to implement them. All right? So I want you to focus on the process. So you don't have to be perfect overnight. You don't have to become a monk and cut everything out. It's going to be quite hard to do that. But you need to focus on gradually improving. Okay? So you need to go from 0% to 20%. Get a little bit more strict and a little bit more, tailored around things and delivered around things. And then it's 20% out of 100%. And then you build upon that, and you can get to 80% out of 100%. And then eventually you can get to 100% out of 100%, and you can, continually push that. You get 110%, and you can keep working. But what I want you to focus on mainly and take away from this module is I need to work on myself to make these tactics work. The tactics in this program 100% work. They have been proven time and time and time again that they work. However, for them to work, you need to get these 3 things working in motion so that your multiplier effect, that is you, is 100%, or at least building towards 100%, and that way your success will improve. Guarantee if someone comes to me and says that, oh, hey, I'm not seeing any success, I'll say, okay, cool, talk to me about how you're using your time. Talk to me about what your energy is like. Talk to me about how you focus. I guarantee you one of these things, if not all 3 of these things, is going to be really sloppy, really loose, and not deliberate or disciplined in any way. And then that immediately equals to a lack in the tactics being used effectively on a consistent and recurring basis, which ultimately means success is impossible. So let's dive into the first one, which is time management. Okay, cool. So first thing you need to do is become far more aware of your time. All right. Your time equals your life, and control over your time equals control over your life. Right. So you have finite amounts of time, and you need to be very, very aware and cautious of who you're spending it with and what you're doing. Okay. Most people go through life, in terms of like just time is just a thing. Okay. They're not very aware of time. They're not aware of how they're spending their minutes throughout the day. I am extremely cautious and aware of my time. If I sit down at a table and I'm having a conversation, I'm having a dinner with somebody, I'm very cautious that I'm, basically wiping 60 minutes of my life off. Now, I'm very, very pedantic, and I take this to the extreme levels, and I'm not expecting you to take this to the extreme levels. However, if you want to get success and you want to get, success to the levels that we have and further beyond, you do have to do this, okay? And I just, this is what it takes to get everything you want in life. Is you need to start this way, and those things will come to you, okay? So first of all, become more aware of your time. When you're sitting in the car, or you're on your phone, or you're having a conversation with someone, become very aware that you are losing time, okay? And also control of your time. You can control your time right now, all right? People control your time if you're working a 9 to 5. Your managers control your time when they say, look, you need to come in at 9 and you need to leave at 5, okay? But all the time outside of that, and, depending on what your job is, you can even study and work, while you're at work hours. That's a bit of that's what I used to do anyway, but that's another thing. Don't get fired from your job. But the time outside of your work hours, when you sleep, when you eat breakfast, you need to understand that controlling those hours means that you're controlling your life. A lot of people go through life and they feel depressed and anxious because they don't have any control over their life. And a lack of control of your life equals a lack of control of your time. And when I first started to focus on becoming very aware of time and aware of how I was spending that and how proactively I was controlling it, the more proactively I controlled my time, the more I felt good about myself, and the more confident and the higher self-esteem I had, because I felt like I had more control over my life. Now, a lot of people on a daily basis don't feel like they have control over their life because they don't take control of their time. Whereas if you wake up at a specific time, you work on a specific thing before work, you go to work, come home, and you do something specific after work, and then you go to bed when you want, you have control, and it feels fucking awesome. I'm not going to try and swear too much throughout this program, but it does. It feels good, okay? And you look at people around you like, well, they're like zombies just walking through, just like stumbling through the matrix because they've got no control over what's happening. And a month goes by, 3 months go by, a year, then a decade goes by, and they have no idea what happened because they never focused on controlling their time. Cool. Tying into this, view your minutes as currency. People just view their time as something that they are going to get back, or like something that doesn't really matter that much. It's like, it doesn't really matter that much if I wait in traffic for an hour, or it doesn't really matter that much if I'm have to mess around with this bullshit client, or this friend or family event or whatever for 3 hours because that's probably something I should do. It's like you're losing money, okay? And it's even more valuable than money because you can make money, all right? Once you start to put this process into effect and you see that you can always make more money, however you can never get back time, which is why it's so important to realize that, like, right now you are the youngest you will ever be in your entire life watching this video. And that's a big statement. You are the youngest you will ever be right now. So moving forward, you need to view your minutes as currency. Every minute that you waste, you are losing money, which leads me to the next point: move faster. The most successful people I've ever met in my entire life by far have a real sense of urgency. And this is something that I adapted very early on when I was actually working in 9 to 5 that served me very well, and it actually caused me to get promotions there much faster than everyone else. And when it comes to business, move faster and get results faster than everyone else. This is a big part of how we grew our company from $0 to $10 million in 12 months was we had urgency, right? When we went and got a coffee in the morning before work, we had urgency. Like, we would walk quickly to get a coffee and walk quickly to get back. And then when I was checking my emails, I'd be like, check, archive. And I would check very quickly through my emails. When I was planning my day, I would plan my day fast. So I want you to, if you're viewing your minutes as currency, that gives you a really good reason to start moving faster. If you're prepping your meals, prep them faster. If you're hanging out with your kids, hang out with them and make it count. Don't just dawdle around. Like, hang out with them fast and make it count, okay? If you're having a fight with someone, make the fight fast. Don't fight with them for like a day or 2 days and give each other silent treatment. Like, have the fight in 60 minutes or 30 minutes or 15 minutes and get over it and move on, because your life, control over that time is control over your life and the outcomes you want. Okay, this is a big one. Schedule in your work times and study times, right? A big reason that people don't, work effectively and they don't, have a lot of time, and Lucas touched on this in terms of the finding the time to learn lesson, but you need to schedule in your work and your study times. Don't F around, all right? Don't F around. Take this shit seriously. Like we said, control of your time is control of your life, all right? Schedule in your work times, and you need to treat those work times as sacred, all right? And okay, if you're working 9 to 5, wake up 2 hours earlier, okay? I will personally wake up at 4 a.m. I'll train for an hour, and then I get stuck straight into work. And then if I want to, I can stop work at 2 p.m. And then I've got the rest of the day to do whatever I want, right? So if I was working, when I was working in my 9 to 5, I would wake up at 5 a.m., I would work until 6:30, and then I would start to get ready for work, okay? So schedule in your work times before work is 100% ideal, because when you wake up in the morning, typically that's when you have around about a 4-hour period of laser-like focus where you can get your best stuff done, and you can get all your, your creativity and your focus and your energy put into your business before you go to your 9 to 5. And then when you're at your 9 to 5, you can just, do your best you can there at your 9 to 5. And then after your 9 to 5, 5 p.m., moving forward towards bedtime, your brain is typically pretty tired from a day's work. So 100% I recommend getting up as early as you can and getting stuck straight into work on your business and scheduling in that time. What is your wake up time? What is the time that you start work? What is the time that you finish work? And treat that really, really seriously. If someone wants to, don't sleep in. Like, if you need to get up at that time, don't sleep in. And if you continue to sleep in, rework that time so it makes it work, okay? Study times. When are you studying? When are you watching these videos, okay? When are you reading the books that we recommend? When are you doing these things? Make sure you study that in and pencil it in. Always prioritize your work time before your study time. Your study time, in my opinion, should be when you're on the way to work, listening to this program in the car, listening to this program on the train, on the tram, whatever it may be, reading a book or an audiobook on the tram or in your car. on the way to work, on the way back, on your lunch breaks. Every single lunch break when I was working my 9 to 5, I was reading. Everybody else, well, look, that's not true. And not every single one. I would say like at least 80% of them. Okay, not every single one, because sometimes it's just like, F this, I don't want to read my book. But most times it would. People would be playing table tennis. People would be going to go get lunch at, restaurants and stuff. And I'd just be like sitting there reading my book. And people looked at me, they laughed at me, they thought I was a weirdo. But guess what? They're still at those jobs. And if you don't want to be the one, still at your job, then that's what you need to do, okay? Work areas is another one. If you're working at home or if you're working at work or wherever you're working, have a designated work area. If you've ever had to work from home, because, you had to call in sick or have a day at home sick or whatever, you realize how hard and distracting it can be. The TV's in front of you, your spouse is tapping on the shoulder and wants you to cook food with them or whatever it is. Have a designated work area that eliminates distractions. I have my desk, which I'm recording this from right now, at home, and nobody can distract me. It's like my zen area. I have an espresso martini candle, which is my favorite flavored candle right here, and there is nothing here that can distract me. There's no TV. There's, my phone's on silent. It's in my drawer. Like, there's nothing that can distract me, okay? So have a designated work area, and it's going to help you a lot with this. Have a calendar that tracks the time you spend in deep focus working in your business. We'll talk about deep focus in a second here in the focus, but there's a cool sort of Chrome extension. It's called Harvest. I would get that. And there's heaps of other ones, but you basically click it when you start working and it tracks your time, and then you click it when you stop working. If you get distracted and you leave, and you go to the toilet, or you go make a coffee, or you start checking your emails, or you go and start hanging out with friends, or taking a phone call, or whatever it is, pause that shit. Only have that thing tracking when you're actually doing focused laser work, and you will see how little work you actually do on a daily basis, all right? If I'm having a good day now, I can probably get up to around about 6 to 8 hours of really laser focused work. But to be honest, if I was in your position right now and I was working 9 to 5 or I had kids, a minimum of 3 hours work a day would be, if you want to guarantee your success and 100% change your life, minimum 3 hours focused work tracked in the Harvest extension every single day, working in your business, working on needle moving tasks. If you can't do that and you can only do 30 minutes a day, fine, do 30 minutes a day, but make sure those 30 minutes are really, really effective, okay? You want to have a calendar that tracks out and has scheduled in your work and your study times on your calendar, because if it's in your calendar, you'll feel like you need to do it and it will be tracked and it will be there to remind you. Whereas if you just say, oh yeah, I'm going to wake up at 4 and I'm going to get to work as soon as I can, like, that's sloppy and that's just not going to work. Okay, that's what everyone else does. Don't be everyone else. Put it in your calendar. And look, if you've got things that you really want to do, like spend time with the family, have family nights or whatever it is, pencil that in first and then work your work around it. That's why waking up early is typically so good, because nothing's ever going on in the mornings. Like really early, yeah, sure, you have to get the kids ready for school, or your partner or whatever it is, or your roommates are making breakfast and they're all loud and being noisy, but get up earlier before that, all right? Look at where your time actually goes, okay? Optimize that wasted time. So once you start to become really aware of your time, you're going to realize that you waste a lot of time. Like, for example, I used to get out of bed, and in winter it's really cold, so I would spend like the first 30 minutes of the morning just sitting in front of my heater. And I realized that's a waste of time. I'm just going to get straight in the shower because that's warm anyway, and I can save 30 minutes in the morning, and I can get to work 30 minutes earlier. I can get 30 minutes of more good time in. Where are you getting your lunch from? Okay, pack your lunch in advance. Don't walk 30 minutes on your lunch break to go get food, and just overall look at where your time is actually going. And if your time where you're spending that isn't equaling success or is not adding to that multiplier effect, cut it, okay? And that is touching on this point here, okay? So I want you to imagine each thing that you do in that times box, okay? So it's like tactics times, what could it be? Could it be going for a walk? Okay, tactic times going for a walk equals success. Does it equal success? Does it get me closer? Okay, well, maybe it's mentally relaxing, so yes, it does. Okay, cool. Tactic times going out for co-workers on a Friday evening and having a beer after work to relax. No, that doesn't equal it, so kill it, okay? That is wasted time, okay? That is wasted time. Chatting with your co-workers 60 minutes before work. No, that's wasted time. Kill that, because you could be working on your business or studying, all right? I'm being very strict about this and very a freak about this, but if you want to guarantee your success, this is how you do it. Plan ahead, because everything takes longer than you think. This is a big one. Everybody thinks when they do something for the first time, it's going to work smoothly. Nothing works the first time. That is a big thing here, okay? Nothing works the first time, and everybody underestimates how long and how much energy and how many times it takes to get things done, especially when they're doing it for the first time. Think about something you're good at now, whether it's playing the guitar, whether it's doing makeup, doing your hair, fitness, whatever it is. You sucked at that at first, and it took longer than you thought to get good at that. Business is the same way. So don't just plan, oh yeah, in 30 minutes, I'm gonna get this done. I've never done it before, but in 30 minutes, I'll get that done, it'll be good. No, you're gonna run into some issue that you didn't think was there. We've templated everything to the best of our abilities here, but there'll be things that you run into that you weren't ready for. So plan ahead, because everything takes longer than you think, and you need to overestimate the amount of action you need to put in to make this work. Overestimate how much energy it's gonna take, all right? Set minimum and maximum standards. This is really important. Your work hours in your day, don't just say I'm going to try and get as much work done as possible. That's very sloppy. That's how I used to operate, and it's how most people operate. It doesn't work. Have a minimum hours and have a maximum hours. Your maximum hours should always be what you're shooting for and striving for, the best version of you. And your minimum hours should be something that you will literally sacrifice sleep, you will sacrifice your limbs, you will sacrifice oxygen to make sure that it doesn't drop below that, okay? And what you'll find is we will always get not our maximum goals, but our minimum standards. Really, really important there. And we're going to touch on this later on in more depth. However, if you say, okay, minimum is I get 1 hour of work, 1 hour of focused work done a day, and maximum is maybe 3 hours or 2.5 hours. It's very rarely that you're going to get that 3 hours, but you should always be shooting for that 3 hours, okay? Often people just accept that they're never going to get there, okay? You shouldn't be doing that, but that's often just what happens. But you will get that 1 hour, and you'll start to really judge yourself and how happy and proud you are of yourself based on if you get that 1 hour or not. Really, really important. So you want to aim to get that 1 hour. And if you don't get that 1 hour, like we're going to talk about, linking pain and pleasure to different things, but if you don't get that 1 hour, just realize that missing that 1 hour by 5 minutes is going to cost you your life, and it's costing you your time, because it is. It may not seem like that in the moment, but it really is. That sloppiness, that slackness, that compromise, you're compromising on your goals over the span of a couple of years or a year. That 5 minutes really does add up, and it filters and it manifests into different other areas as well, okay? So we'll touch up more on that later. Action steps moving forward for time management. What I want you to do is use the Harvest extension tracker to track your time. Set a minimum, a maximum standard in terms of focused hours per work on a daily basis. I want you to look at what you do with your time on a daily basis and cut, kill, and optimize the wasted time. All right, and I want you to schedule in your work and your study times and create a very specific work area. Really, really, really important stuff. Okay, energy. Let's do this. Now, this is by far the one where I get the biggest eye roll, because we're going to be talking about diet, we're going to be talking about food, we're going to be talking about health, and most people don't want to talk about this because they don't want to give up the donuts. Now, I'm just going to come out and say it. I freaking love donuts. All right, I do. I love donuts, I love pizza, and I love iced coffees, the really, really sugary ones that Dare and Icebreak make. I love eating all that stuff. I love coffee frappuccinos from McDonald's. I love all that stuff, but I don't have them most of the time because I can see a direct correlation over and over again between consuming those things and a lack of results in my business and how I feel about myself. So, first one is your input equals your output, and your output equals your results. We've already looked at that with basically the performance equation, where it's the tactics times you equals success, okay? But what you put into your body and how you treat your body and your energy levels directly correlate with your output levels and your level of action, okay? And the level of action and work you get done has a direct correlation with your results. Now, I know everybody watching this right now wants to skip this part and they want to say, yeah, I get all that. I should eat healthy. I should exercise, all that jazz. I don't really care. Show me the tactics. And that is exactly why you need to be watching this. Because once I focused on this stuff, the tactics became easy. The tactics worked so much better for me, okay? So, input equals output and output equals results. Very, very important. Your energy levels, everything that you put into your body and how you treat your body affects your energy levels, and your energy levels equals your results, right? And this is why, as we've covered, tactics aren't enough, because everybody can get your tactics. Everyone can get tactics. However, if your energy level sucks and you're eating shitty food and you're always dehydrated and your gut is always in a very acidic state and you don't get enough sleep and you wake up tired and you go to bed tired and you work when you're tired and you're not focused and you have low energy levels, the tactics won't work because you won't be able to implement them and develop and progress them and get through the trials and tribulations that you're going to face in comparison to the next guy who's sitting next to you who does have all that stuff. Not only, like, I just want to quickly pause on this. Everything I'm teaching you here is to get you to be able to make more money fast and be more successful in business. That is everything that we want you to do is going to gear you towards that result. However, you are also going to feel way better about yourself. One of our students, Brenda, she lost 5.6 kilograms because she implemented this. And lots of other people have gotten in way healthier shapes, and not only gotten healthier shapes, but set an example for their kids, for their friends, for their family, and for their co-workers, and for their partners by following this stuff. But I'm not going to focus too much on that stuff. Those are just cool side effects. Okay, cool. So health equals how effectively we use our time. If you implement, I'm just not going to say if, when, okay, when you implement all the time management things, you're going to have very specific study times, which would be great, and you're going to have very specific work times, which would be great. So now you've got your work and your study times. Your energy is going to dictate how well and how effectively you can use those times, okay? Let's just say that you have an hour blocked out for studying and an hour blocked out for work during the day, okay? Actually, let's switch that. Let's say you've got 2 hours for work and you've got 30 minutes for studying, okay? If you have, energy levels that are running at 50% in comparison to the next guy who's running at energy levels at 100%, they're going to get twice as much work done as you in that same block of period. And they're going to study and learn twice as much as you. And that means that their work that they do is going to be even better than yours, okay? And you need to view that way. So eating bad food creates brain fog and kills energy. Now, I'm not a dietitian. I'm not going to get into all the science about how all this works. If you guys want to learn that, let me know in the group and we can dive in and chat more specifics. I'm just going to go on a very, very high level basis because some people have different food intolerances and things like that in here. But what I want to focus on is the main things, okay? So the main things that I do that works for me and that works for other people that I've seen. If you're eating really, really bad foods, what that's causing is a really basically dirty system in your brain, and your body is always in a filtration process. So your body is like a natural bacteria killer. And when you put really processed foods in your body, like McDonald's, like foods packed with gluten, really high carb, really high processed foods, and you put that into your body spends so much energy trying to digest that, trying to break it down, trying to get rid of all the toxins and detox your body. And what that does is it causes a lot of mental brain fog. So if you wake up in the mornings and you're really foggy and you're not clear-headed and you can't sit down and focus on one task and focus on one thing and read a book or focus on your work and just focus and get work done, you have brain fog, okay? And you have low energy levels, and you need to look at your diet. If your diet, you wake up in the morning and you have a Coke and you have an apple, or you wake up and you have a Coke and a muffin, or you have some buttered toast, or anything like that, that is killing your focus. And if you have some really, really processed meats or rice or noodles or anything in the morning, that's just going to kill your energy levels, and it's going to kill your focusing ability. And that's really, really important when it comes to energy. That is why you should be focusing on eating water-dense food for very high energy levels. Now, it's called alkalinity, but you can go do a research on the alkaline diet and all these different things. But what we want to do is focus on eating organic whole foods that have a dense water nutrition, and they're very nutritious, rather than eating processed, quick and easy foods, okay? Everyone eats, the bacon and egg McMuffin from McDonald's with, with a Frappuccino, for example. I used to love doing that. I did that every day for a very long time, so I'm speaking from experience here. And then I would always be in sloppy work mode for the rest of the day. Instead of that, what we want to do is eat very water-dense foods. You can go look up like alkaline foods, but basically it's a lot of greens. It's a lot of spinach, it's a lot of kale, it's a lot of vegetables. It's avocado, it's broccoli, it's all these different things. And when you eat these things, it's very, very hydrating for your body. So you always have high energy levels. That's when you see people who always have high energy levels. A lot of the time they have very good diets. People who go to the gym, that are into fitness, they have high energy levels because they can just do this and they can focus on this, okay? So focus on eating water-dense foods. Personally, I wake up in the morning and I'll have a smoothie instead of having some shitty breakfast. I'll have like my smoothie. What does it have? It has banana, it has avocado, it has spinach, it has kale, it has coconut water, and it has lime juice. And I'll have that, and I'll find, having that and having it in smoothie form, really, really good for my digestion because it's so easy. My food, I don't have to waste energy trying to break it down because it's already in smoothie form. And it's really, really hydrating, and it really helps me focus on energy throughout the rest of the day. So don't eat carb-heavy meals in the morning, okay? So don't wake up and have pancakes. Don't wake up and have hash browns or McDonald's or whatever it is, because when you eat heavy carbs, it's so hard for your body to digest those things, especially if they're really, really processed. If you're having like organic potatoes, that's, it's still not ideal, but it's a lot better. But this is all around how do we get maximum energy and focus, okay? Prep your meals in advance to save money and time, okay? Prep your meals in advance, right? It doesn't take very long to prep meals in advance. A day's worth of meals, like for example, if I'm going to prep my meals, like granted, I don't have very amazing tasting meals, so like I'm not that picky about it, but for example, I'll buy like a kilo of frozen broccoli and beans, and I'll buy some turkey mince, and I'll just cook that up. I'll just throw the frozen vegetables straight into a container. I can just microwave that, and all I need to do is just basically cook the turkey mince and put that into some containers, and the next day just heat it up. And I'm having very lean meals, very high protein, very alkaline. And if you're a vegetarian or you don't eat meat, well then you can do it with plant-based protein. Okay, so it saves money, which is fantastic. It's way cheaper than going and buying lunch every single day. Way cheaper. You can put that money in your business, and it also saves a lot of time in terms of having to always go and find out what you're going to cook, or go and find out where you're going to buy food from, or go and buy food. You just have the meal there, smash it, eat it, cool, back to work. And that's how it should work. Okay, remove the crap from sight. This is a really big one. Like your environment, like a doctor, I forgot what his name was. I think it was Dave McClelland. You can correct me on that. From Harvard, Dr. Dave McClelland, he's a social physiologist. Basically, up to 95% of your success or your failure is determined by your environment. And your environment, if you work in a bakery or McDonald's and you're surrounded by that food, you are naturally going to eat more of that food. If you work in a nutrition bar and an organic bar, then you're going to eat much healthier food. It's just how it works. So at home, if you have crap everywhere, if you have shapes, if you have McDonald's, you have frozen pizzas, you have whatever it is, 2-minute noodles, get rid of it, okay? Get rid of it, because it's going to make it so much harder for you to eat those things and replace it with healthier alternatives. If you want some ideas for healthier alternatives, hit me up in the group. I love chatting about this stuff, so I'm more than happy to chat about it. But removing it from sight and from immediate access will go a long way. Take regular scheduled breaks. I recommend everybody reads the book. I've got here, The Power of Full Engagement. It's a very good book. Who's it by? It's by Tony Schwartz. I recommend everybody read that. It's a great book, and it basically says that you should take breaks every 2 to 4 hours. Go do something physical. Go do something that gets your mind not focused on work. For example, this is going to sound pretty funny, but I used to work 2 hours, and then I would go and I'd juggle, okay? And the reason I would juggle is because it takes my mind and it focuses on the physical thing. You can go play pool, you can go shoot hoops, you can go for a walk, you can go for a run, for a jog, whatever it is. You can go do knitting if you want. Take breaks every 2 to 4 hours, so you're not, because by the time you're in like that, third or fourth hour, the work quality is starting to decline pretty steadily. So it's better that you take 2 hours of focused work, take like a 30-minute break, then come back and then go for another 2 hours. And that way, you can smash that workout. Another awesome tip is have a countdown clock in front of you. If you're working for a 2-hour scheduled period or a 60-minute period, have a countdown clock on your phone, counting down the seconds right in front of you. It'll make you extremely aware of how you're spending that time. So if you go up to go to the toilet and you come back and you notice I was in the toilet for 3 minutes. I lost 3 minutes out of the 60. Or if you can't even go to check your phone because you'll have your timer up. But if you go to check your phone on Facebook or whatever it is, it's like, I just wasted 10 minutes of the 60 minutes I have in a day. And you need to, decline that, basically, count that or subtract that from your harvest calculator. Fasting until noon, this is one that helped me a lot. When you're fasting, your body is basically detoxifying itself. It's having to save a lot of energy because it's not having to break down heaps of food and stuff. There's lots of other health benefits to fasting as well. So I'm not going to tell you to do it, but all I say is that it's been a really, really big one for me for a while. Now, instead, I just have a smoothie in the mornings, but you can fast as well until noon, or, do whatever works for you. I would recommend watching a YouTube video on fasting if you want to get the more science behind it, but typically an 8-hour eating period and a 16-hour fasting period works pretty well. Sleep. This is a really big one, guys. You need to get enough sleep. Turn off everything. Turn off all the blue lights, which is like your phone, which is like your laptop, your TV, at least 2 hours before you go to bed. Do some reading or do some fun things or the stuff that takes your mind off work or off focus before you go to sleep, and focus on getting at least 7 hours of sleep. I know there's people like Gary Vee and stuff that talk like, why don't you just sleep 5 hours? That didn't really work for me because I'd wake up and I'd feel trash. Focus on getting 7 hours of quality sleep. You don't need to take heaps of drugs. You don't need to do heaps of different stuff to get good sleep. If you do want help in terms of like helping sleep, I found that taking magnesium powder or magnesium tablets and melatonin before bed helped me get into a deeper sleep. However, it's not necessary. Typically, if you're doing those things, you're trying to make up for having a shit diet. I would focus on if you get your diet right and you're eating very high alkaline foods, you're going to sleep a lot better. But your sleep is very, very important. You want to make sure that, in your room, that it's 100% dark. You don't want it to be really hot. If you can have a window open that makes it a bit colder, that's really good for your body. It helps you get into like a sleep gnosis, basically, much faster. And you don't want to be listening to music or doing any outrageous party stuff before you go to bed. You want to get your melatonin sinking in, and that's why not using screens or working a couple of hours before bed is really, really good. And if you do that, you're going to be like 80% of the way there. If you have any more specifics or specific sleep situations you want to hit me up with, let me know in the group chat. Drink lots of water throughout the day. Staying hydrated at all times, like we touched on with the alkaline diet, works really, really well. And this is a very controversial one, coffee. I used to be addicted to coffee. I love drinking coffee. I'd have like 4 coffees a day. The thing with coffee is, like, you can have it still, sure, yes, like if you want coffee, stick with your coffee. I'm not forcing you to get rid of it. However, you need to realize at least the side effects of coffee. When you have coffee, it's extremely acidic, just like wine and like alcohol. So like, it basically what it does is it makes you feel hungover and shit the next day, coffee, because it's very acidic for your gut and it's very hard to, basically affects the way that you digest foods and things like that. It's very, very dehydrating. So if you're gonna have coffee, please don't have it as the first thing that you have in the morning. Have like a really nice smoothie, have some warm water with some lemon, have something like that in the morning, have a bottle of water first and then have your coffee. At least then it's not as dehydrating, but it's basically like, throwing a sponge full of water in the desert sun again and again and again every morning, even though it's already dried out. That's kind of like what having coffee every morning is. So, also, if you're gonna have coffee, like, you're gonna have to schedule your work times around that coffee hit, because in the afternoon you're gonna tank and you're not gonna be able to have any more coffee, or else you won't sleep, which you're probably not sleeping very well. This also ties in. So if you're having coffee, you're not gonna be sleeping very well. So it's gonna help you sleep way better if you quit caffeine. But if you want to still have coffee, make sure you schedule your work times in the morning around having that coffee hit. So like that 2 to 4 hour period, make sure that, that's not on the come down of your coffee. That's when you're first starting off, okay? So I hope that makes sense. Action steps, okay? Action steps for this is look at your diet, look at what's causing brain fog and low energy levels, kill it. Swap it with high energy and high alkaline foods, water dense foods. Okay, prep your meals in advance. Remove the crap from sight and make sure you're scheduling and you're taking those scheduled breaks. Okay, really focus on what are you putting into your body? Is it pushing you toward your success, or is it pulling you back from towards your success? And if it's pushing you towards success, multiply it, add more of it in. If it's pulling you away from your success, kill it and replace it with a healthier alternative. Okay, focus. This is a very exciting one. You can see the cat with the laser eyes there. We want to have absolute focus. So focus basically determines how much you get out of your time and your energy. Okay, so time, you now have specific time routines, fantastic. Energy, you're very high energy during those times, fantastic. Now focus is what we're going to do to actually move the needle in those periods, okay? Now this is by far the most important thing, and this is where everybody goes wrong, and I went wrong on this for a very long time. And when someone posts in the group and they're having troubles, usually it's because their focus isn't in the right areas, or their focus is deviating. Now, this is a big problem as well for people, especially beginner entrepreneurs, because there's so many shiny bullets out there. There's so many different tactics and different things that sound like the grass is greener on the other side, and it's not, guys, okay? Like I'm showing here, this is where success is made. The tactics, you can use any tactics and it will work as long as this is here, okay? So the tactics in this course will work over and over and over again. It's what we use to build a $10 million business, more than enough money than you need to do whatever you want. This focus bit is being able to focus on one task for a very long period of time over and over and over and over again, focusing on one thing. That is how you become a master. Okay, you think Led Zeppelin would have become a master at playing the guitar if he was also trying to learn the clarinet and the piano and, run 100 miles and, all these other things? He just wouldn't. Okay, dopamine addiction. This is a big one. I'm going to be making a separate video on this because this is such a big topic. However, I just wanted to quickly touch on it. When you wake up in the morning, your brain is searching for dopamine fix. Dopamine hits over and over again. So dopamine is basically like the feel-good chemical that gets released in your brain when you do something good. So if you have sex, if you eat a donut, I love donuts, if you get a lot of money deposited into your bank account, if someone tells you they love you, all these different things release dopamine, and it's what your body loves. When you wake up in the morning, your mind is like this, it's like this freaking monkey that is, bouncing around the walls just looking to get the next hit of dopamine. And it's why social media and all these different, TV shows and stuff are so addictive, because they give you dopamine hits. When there's a cliffhanger in the end of the movie, it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And you get like a dopamine hit. And when there's a bomb dropped in, the movie or the TV series, it's like, oh my God, that's so cool. And there's all these different things that builds up suspense and tension, and it's just trailing those little dopamine tidbits along the way, and your body's just trying to chase them. Same thing with social media. You can post a status and get likes. Oh, let me check who liked my thing. Oh, that person liked it. That's awesome. Oh, I got another message. Or someone like my follow. I got a new follow on Instagram. Like, oh, I've got a new email. Let me check what that email is. And it's just, you're getting all these little hits of dopamine, and you are going to hate working on your business if you're addicted to small dopamine hits like this. This is why 99% of people in life can never achieve anything great over the long term, because they can never focus on one thing over the long term, because this dopamine addiction is pulling them, in 30 different directions literally on a minute by minute basis. Like, how many times have you checked your phone during this video? Seriously. Maybe you didn't even watch this entire video all the way through the first time. How many times have you checked your phone or checked an email or whatever it is during this video? That is dopamine pulling you in that way. Okay, now at first, when you're doing this, you need to use social media to get clients. That's completely cool. But like when you move into ads, for example, you don't need any of that. All right, you don't need to do that. Like I barely use social media. I barely use my emails. I barely use anything, because it just pulls me away. When you get these dopamine hits from everything else, working your business fucking sucks, because why would you want to sit down and cold outreach to prospects or come up with content to post or anything like that when you can go and watch TV? You just won't do it, okay? So you need to try and cut it out as much as possible, because when you sit down to go and do work, and you need to focus on writing an email or doing something new that's hard for the first time, and then your friend sends you a text message, you're always going to you're going to feel that urge and that pressure inside you to check that text message and respond to them about what plans you're having tonight or on the weekend, because it's easier and because your brain gets dopamine from doing that, okay? But if you eliminate all that stuff, then the working on your business and achieving goals in your business is the only thing that delivers your brain dopamine, and it's so much more powerful, okay? Shallow work versus deep work, this is super important. So a study's been showing that it takes around about 20 to 30 minutes to actually get into deep work. Now, shallow work is when you're deciding and planning what you should do. Deep work is when you're making progress on what you should do. Most people spend all their work time in shallow work. They're checking the emails, then they know they're going to do a task, and they'll spend 20 minutes doing this task, and then they'll get a text message, and they'll check their text messages, and then they need to get back to their work, and then they need to remember where they were, and then they need to restart. Oh, okay, I need to do this now, and then they start working on that, and then they get a call, and then they take the call, and they get a Facebook DM, and whatever it is, and they're always spending their time in figuring out what they're working on and starting to get going. Deep work is where shit happens. This is where shit gets real, and this is where we crush other people into a fine powder. It's because we spend our time focused and doing real work. Right now, recording this lesson for you, this is deep work. I had to plan this out. I had to get started on it. I had to record it as I'm doing now. Then I have to edit it and get it uploaded and everything like that, okay? I would not be able to be recording this video. Have you seen any notifications on my screen? You haven't seen one notification on my screen. I've not checked my phone once. It is in my cupboard over there. I cannot touch it. That is when you get shit done and you become lethal, okay? So I want you to understand the difference and think to yourself right now, am I in shallow work or am I in deep work? Always think about that. Needle moving versus comfortable, easy work. This is another big one. This comes back to the dopamine addiction, okay? We've touched on it before, but like designing your logo, picking colors, refreshing your website, putting another post on Instagram, like all these, things, like making a blog post, like it doesn't matter. It's just comfortable, easy work, and it doesn't move the needle. You know what moves the needle? Making money. You know what makes money? Speaking with prospects, cold outreaching to prospects, preparing content to cold outreach to prospects, contacting prospects, speaking with prospects, selling prospects, getting on the phone with prospects, getting prospects to pay money, keeping existing clients happy, speaking with freelancers and contractors. Like these are the things that move the needle. These are the things that have a direct correlation with the amount of money you make. So you need to become very, very aware, and we're gonna go more on this when I show you what the needle moving tasks are. But I just want to preface this now that you need to become very aware of, is what you're doing easy and comfortable and what you want to be doing, or is what you're doing making money? Okay, I used to spend weeks working on my logo and working on my website. I needed to get the homepage just perfect and had to get this color just perfect, and I wasn't really sure if I liked that brand name, so I had to mix around with brand names, and I'd go and ask my friends what they thought of this brand name, and none of it made any money. I'd spend like 3 months not making any money. The people who come to this program and make money in the first week sometimes don't even do that stuff. I'm like, oh, hey, what's your company name? Oh, I haven't actually decided on a company name yet. Oh, I'm just using my own name right now. Hell yeah, fantastic, because they have clients coming in. None of that stuff matters, right? And you're going to fool yourself to think it matters because it's going to give you dopamine and it's going to be way more comfortable to work on than the other stuff. Do the other stuff, force yourself to do it. We're going to touch on how to do that, and you will make money. And then you can go and do the other stuff when you're actually making money and you feel good about yourself, okay? Eliminating reactive notifications, okay? This is your phone, this is Instagram, this is emails. These reactive notifications are the things that you're reactive to. If your phone is going off and then you need to check it, if something externally goes ping, I want your attention, ping, I want your attention, someone come and taps you on the shoulder, ping, I want your attention, that is a reactive notification. That's a notification that you need to react to because it's coming at you. Eliminate those. I do not have any reactive notifications besides someone calling my phone. And I think there's probably about 7 people in the world that have my phone number. And that's not because I'm cool, because I'm important. It's because I don't want people being able to contact me at any point in time. If you have notifications on your phone that ding when you get it, when someone likes, your Instagram photo, why? That doesn't contribute to your business. It destroys your business because it pushes you from deep work into shallow work, and then feeds that dopamine addiction, which then feeds the comfortable and easy work. And it's like this negative downward spiral, okay? I also control when I check my phone, okay? I will not check my phone during deep work periods. So if someone calls me and it's urgent, that sucks for them, okay? Now, if you have kids or whatever it is, that's fine. I get that, maybe you have to check it, but you don't need to check it every 15 minutes, okay? You don't need to check it every 10 minutes. Check it once an hour, whatever it is, okay? You need to eliminate reactive notifications. You need to eliminate proactive habits as well, okay? So checking emails, checking Facebook groups. I'm sure most of you right now have watched this video. You've checked something. Was it your emails? You just went and refreshed your emails, or you just went and refreshed your Instagram feed, or you went and refreshed your text messages, or the news. You went to news.com.au, whatever it is. You need to destroy the proactive habits. So when you get that feeling and that urge to go and do something, and that check something, you need to stop that, okay? You need to stop the ones that come to you, and then stop the ones that you proactively do, okay? Most people do lots of things badly. You need to do the opposite, okay? I'm just going to quickly draw this out for you. Okay, so most people, what they do is they'll be working like 5 things at once. They have like 5 different businesses, and there'll be like 5 different projects and tasks going on at one time. So they'll have this thing, they'll have this thing, they'll have this thing, and they'll have this thing, and they'll have this thing, okay? This is like task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4, and task 5. And you have like 100% energy, okay? So this is like your 100% energy, 100% time right here. This is like 100%. And if you're doing 5 things, you're split across like 25% across all of these things, okay? And you are never putting 100% in to actually get to success. And then there'll be this one person over here, okay, this is the person over here who has one task on their plate, and they just go bang, and they just destroy this because they didn't put 100% into this. Now 100% over here can look like a lot of different things. It can look like reaching out to prospects. I'm going to sit down, and for this next hour, I'm going to work solely on reaching out to prospects. For this next hour, I'm going to sit down and work solely on getting clients better results, or who my target market is, or who my niche is. And they will destroy that, and they will have their niche and their package perfectly done in the space of like 2 hours, where it takes some other people like 3 weeks, because they're also, trying to help with the kids, and they're trying to, check emails, and they've got social media going on, and they're trying to do their niche, and they're trying to do their offer, and they're also trying to do, plan what their logo looks like, and what their business name is going to be, and what people are going to think of them on social media when they post this. And they never get to where you need to get to, which is success, okay? So when you're going to sit down and work in your scheduled time, work on one thing. Put 100% of your attention, your energy on one thing, on one outcome, and one result. And you won't get everything done at once, all right? So this like doing this stuff right here, it makes your brain feel good, because it's like, oh my God, I'm getting so much done. Oh, I'm working on all these different things. This is awesome. This is supposed to be an exclamation mark, but really you're not getting anything really done. Whereas like this point right here, this point, this is where the money is made. And you just want to sit down and focus on one thing. And over the span of, say, a week, and if you put an hour in a day and get one thing done, you'll have 7 things. You'll have 7 things that have like made this point up here, okay? And you'll just crush people into dust. All right, laser-like focus on the things that count. We just touched on that when it comes down to like needle moving work and, making sure that you're doing one thing really, really well. But you basically just want to have laser-like focus, which means you focus on one thing and make sure that thing is needle moving, and you're in deep work, and you've eliminated everything else. So the action steps is pretty much everything on the screen here, okay? Eliminate reactive notifications, eliminate proactive habits. We're going to talk more about how to do that, more step by step. But really, all it takes is just removing it. To be honest, like that's just is what it is. And focus on doing one thing, and make sure that you're focusing on something that is needle moving. All right, guys. This has been a bit of a long one. This is a wrap. I hope you got a lot out of this. I hope you rewatch this over and over and over and over again, because I work more on this stuff than I do on my actual business tactics. Because when I work more on this stuff, doing business tactic becomes easy. If I have to make 100 calls, I'll just sit down and I'll just make 100 calls in the space of 60 minutes. And you know what those calls lead to? They lead to clients, and they lead to money. And you know what money leads to? Being able to hire people to do it for you. And then this stuff becomes about training and hiring and focusing on those people to do it for you. And then like if you can get your employees on this, then you have like a 10x magnitude effect, okay? So focus on this stuff, rewatch this over and over and over and over again. If you start to feel yourself falling off the bandwagon, come back, rewatch this, refine tune what you're doing, and let's get you to that 100% efficiency so you can achieve success. So excited to see you in the next video, and we'll catch you there. Bye for now.